Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Have I Told You the One About? Today, I have a magical human. You know where there are those people in the world and you think, where did they come from? They're like a unicorn. They're so fabulous. You have no idea that, they just feel like they've sprung out of the loins of Mother Earth. They're just perfection. This is one of those people. We're going to count him in on the count of three, right? You know the magic words. 1, 2, 3. Poof! that was a slow poof. Hi, this is Anas. Hi, Anas. Say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, my head now is so big.
Well, it's about the same size as mine. Okay, so Anas, I
Yeah,
have the story portal open. Do you want to send me your story?
yeah, sure.
And you are going to tell us about how I escaped two wars.
Yes.
Amazing.
Actually, they are three wars. The first one was my parents.
Okay, two wars and a third unofficial war.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, okay. So, for those who don't know, I'm from Syria, and the war started in Syria 2011.
Right.
Before the war, we had like normal life. I had my career, I had my degree, and everything was going well, except for being LGBTs in conservative country, of course.
Right. Queer
Other than
person in
that,
Syria.
yeah,
Queer
other than that,
queer
it was
Muslim, right?
sorry.
Queer Muslim.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Muslim family. Yeah,
Right.
that's correct. Yeah. In general, like I believe, like even Christian there, like I think it's just Arab culture is very conservative in terms of LGBTs. Yeah, like you find like open-minded people, no matter what is their religions, but they are like when it comes to LGBTs, they are very close-minded, and yeah, they don't accept it. Anyway, and so the before the war, like okay, even though we have this conservative culture, but I managed to have like my circle was like very open-minded and nice, but not to the level that I came out to them. And in fact, to be fair, it was my mistake because I was like over scaring about the idea of coming out. But now, like after I came out in Canada, I managed to make nice circle of Arab communities abroad. I mean, I'm talking or somewhere in Canada or far from Canada who are accepting and they are nice, but they are like, we accept you, but okay, keep it between us. You know, like they can't help or they can't like advocate for you.
Right.
Okay,
So
anyway, this is
so they
not
still
our
want to,
story.
yeah, sure, but that's people want to keep things discreet, essentially.
Exactly true.
Yeah, and they
Which
they
I
don't.
understand when it comes to security and safety. Yeah, I understand that. And providing that they live in bad circumstances in those third world countries. But I don't
Right.
understand if it's in a nice place like Canada, if they are still want to be discreet and they don't want to, you know, to
Help.
raise their.
Yeah, they're not active allies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so the war started in 2011. Going back to the life before the 2011, other than the corruption government and the conflicts in Middle East, Syria is a pretty country. Like we have like kind of nice country there in terms of like the heritage we have and
Hmm.
like people visit Damascus from everywhere. It's like the all one of the oldest city in the world. So
Right.
yeah, so that part of it was nice. I still miss those like those heritage places that we used to hang out with my friend and visit and meet visitors from everywhere. So it was
Hmm.
nice. 2011. So the war started, and basically to the reason behind this war. Like people are calling for their freedom, and the government, the corrupted government, who been stealing the money of the people for like more than 40 years, they were against it. And with collaboration with Russia and Iran and all of those corrupted countries, they tried to silence people, and it came to killing people. And everybody knows how when dictator regimes, how they react
Right.
to
Yeah.
the revolution of people. So anyway, I had a decent career. I had a nice life.
What was your
I was
career
like,
in, Anas?
mhm.
What was your career in?
Yeah, I work as auditor. I work in auditing in accounting field
Okay,
and taxation.
great.
So I used to work for an international company called Ernest and Young. We have branches everywhere, like
Oh
even
yeah,
in
of
Canada.
course. Yeah, Ernest and
Yeah,
Young. Yeah.
correct. So I started back 2009 this career, and I kind of felt like I started establishing my life. I got my own car. I live in my own apartment, and start having nice circle of friends, and like doing project outdoor stuff. Yeah, it was like fairly nice, other than living in closet or not even accepting myself, just because all my life was with heterosexual life. So like
Right.
it was like very hard to know whether like the conflict in your inside you. So it was like trying to adapt to straight life and trying to convince yourself that you can be straight, you can have life like your friends. So other
Right.
than that, it was amazing to me.
Mm.
So the war started, and I had to flee for two reasons. One of them was like it always triggered me that I'm curious to see the freedom in the West and the democracy and the culture and LGBT life. So it was like my main reason for emigration. Second reason was the war, and I was requested for military service.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, so it's obligatory in Syria for males, and they wanted like all people between age 18, I guess, to 45, something like, and this range of age, they requesting everybody to join the regime for killing the civilian.
Right.
So when and no matter what is your career, no matter whether you know how to carry gun or not, you have to participate. So it was kind of sorting people whether you are with me or not with me. If you are not with me, okay, then I will kill you one day. So they are just trying to see who will. They send a letter to all people to their home, and they are trying to see who will follow and join. Then they are with us. If you are not okay, then there is a red line underneath your name, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, when I got this call, actually they sent it to my parents' house, and they don't know where my residency, because during the war it was like very messy, and I didn't register my rent contract, and they don't know where I live, so they sent it to my parents. And
Okay.
my parents, my dad, he acknowledged that, hey, there's a request for you, blah blah blah. So and then I thought like, okay, within 24 hours I should flee the country. Like you can't wait, because otherwise they will announce your name on the border, then you can't cross the border legally.
Wow.
So yeah, so I remember it was like, in Middle East, like the weekend is Friday and Saturday instead of Saturday and Sunday. So I think they send it out sometimes in Thursday, and 2 days were the weekend, so there's no processing at that time. So it was like recommended, okay, you have to flee the country within those 2 days.
Wow.
It's so difficult, like it's so hard, like, oh wow, what should I take with me, like what is matter to me, and what should I do? Anyway, the
And
good thing is
Anas, did you have any
yes.
idea that this was coming? Like, did you know that this
um,
it was possible, but you don't have any other warning, right?
Yeah, because I thought in the beginning, oh, I'm an accountant. I have nothing to do with them. I'm probably, if they send me to the war, I will like kill myself. First things I will do. I'm not. I will not be useful to them. So I thought they might ask people who are like, people who might be more aware of war stuff, or like
Right. Right.
maybe with some career that help them, like let's say,
Well,
uh,
mechanics, or yeah, people who
yeah,
know machinery, people who yeah have a history
exactly.
of hunting, stuff like that.
Yeah. Plus, when they ask people for joining the military service, they started asking people who they have history of loyalty to them. For
Right.
example, your family are part of the regime, or your father
Right.
worked for the government, or those people are the first one who would ask them, because they know. But like my father has nothing to do with them. Like my father, he's businessman. He has his own career. He has manufacturing for
Right.
building materials, and he never, like my family never has any link to them.
Right. Right.
Actually, it's the opposite way. So that's why I was like, kind of, no, they might not call me.
Mm.
Second, yeah, I don't know. Like, it is, as you said, it is possible, but when you are under risk and you don't have alternative options, so you keep like saying, I'm not gonna think about it.
Right. Yeah.
And when the crisis started, like there was a lot of rumors, like, oh, it will end within 2 weeks. It will, because if you hear about the news of the Arab Springs, like it
Right.
started in Egypt and it ended after a few months. It started in Tunisia and it ended after like, I guess in Tunisia in a few months, and
Right.
in Egypt it ended after like a year or something. So we all were thinking, okay, just a couple of months maybe, or just like a maximum a year. We didn't know that Syria will be different than all other
Yeah, of
Arab
course.
countries,
Right.
Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, and all of those countries. It ended, and Tunisia now became way better than other countries. Like at least they elected a president. They really elected. They know how to elect now. We never elected a president. We know the family. They govern Syria, and they like keep going.
Right.
And we don't have any parties in Syria. We only have one party, which is the president party, and he occupy all the investment. Like whoever want to invest in Syria, they should show loyalty. How we would show loyalty? You gift the president family, or you get a call from the president family. Oh, we need 20% from your investment, or otherwise you will not allow you to operate. So it's very well known to the president family that they call them 15%. What does 15% mean? That they need 15% from any investors. So when your
Wow.
business is growing, then yeah, like when your business grow, then you have to share with them 15%. Like
Right.
that's why all business people, like that's why my father, because his business is not to that level that attract them, because he's not that big businessman guy. But if he grow further, he would reach this level that he should share with them. So it's
Right.
very corrupted, very like stupid
Mm.
government. And yeah, anyway, so this
Anyways.
part, never attracted me in Syria, and I always against it. But you can manage to be far from the politic, work for civilian company, especially if you work for international firm. Then international firm kind of have the power to let you away from those conflicts. So I was working for Ernest and Young, and Ernest and Young, they have like a fairly good reputation around the world. So the government cannot mess with them, cannot tell them, hey, you should,
Right.
because in the end, they want to maintain this international relations. So they want those international companies to open and operate there. They only make this hassle with local companies and local people.
Right.
Okay, so and then I had to flee the country within like 48 hours. So I pack up everything, and well, the only way you can flee the country, okay, there is sanction on Syrian air flights. You can fly anywhere. You have only to connect through Lebanon. And if you look at the map, like we have like Syria in the middle, Turkey in the top and the north, and Jordan south, Jordan, Palestine, Israel south. West, and then Lebanon to the west, and then east we have Iraq. So all of those circle of countries, Uh, those are the options that Syrians flee. So most of them went to Turkey. Turkey has better established life, better economy, and people might have safe, fairly safe place to live.
Okay.
Jordan as well. Well, they are definitely they are not perfect, but if you are in a war zone, they should be attacking you. So if I want to classify them, the worst one would be Iraq. Uh, then I would say Iraq. Well, I can classify them to two groups: Iraq and then all other groups, which is Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, and Palestine. Definitely, we can go off to any of them.
Right.
So it's only Turkey, Jordan, and Lebanon. So the only way I can go, well, we can't share the border. We share the border with Iraq, but because of the war zone, and so you can't drive to Iraq. It's risky. So the safest way for people to travel, they go to Lebanon, and from Lebanon International Airport, you book a flight and go if you are allowed to go. But because of the sanction, Syrians are not allowed, literally are not allowed to go anywhere because they don't issue visa for you. I applied to US 3 times. I got accepted for US chartered accountant, and I was like, I was really wanted to go to US just to get my exam done and go back to Syria because
Right.
Ernest and Young policy to be manager, you should get your CPA, US CPA, because it was like kind of
Okay.
it's international company, but kind of the head like very like US CPA very well known to them for to be promoted. So anyway, I started studying USCPA and I submitted application 3 times, and then the woman at the embassy, she told me, hey, I knew your name. This is your third time. Stop wasting your money. As long as you live in a war zone country and you are originally from Syria, there is no way to enter US.
Oh no. Oh well,
Yeah,
that was helpful
so
though. That's so great that she let you know at least.
yeah, after 3 times of like applying and wasting my time and my money too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was good. Yeah, she was very nice woman. She went behind her desk and she told me, I understand that you are trying to flee, or this. She said, there is no provement that you will come back, even you are well established or whatever. Like, and they have lots of conditions, and I met all of them. I told her, I show you my bank account and everything. So she said, even though we are not convinced that as a Syrian fleeing the war, you will
Right.
not stay in the US, which is
Right.
true. I was, if I went to US, I would definitely cross to Canada.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
and
you were
Ernest and
trying to
Young
do
is
all of
very
this.
sweet.
You were trying to do all
Sorry.
of this from Syria, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to flee. That sort of background. But where did you end up going?
Yeah, that's so I the only way was Lebanon. So I called my company. I need to hand over my job and I need to apply for. I can't like go. I have like their laptop and everything. So I told them, hey, this is what's happened. I'm required for military service and I can't even give notice period. I want to go. They were very sweet with me and they were really really nice. And they told
Wow.
me, okay, go to our branch in Lebanon, go get yourself settled, and we'll talk to our branch in Lebanon to hire you there. But
Wow.
anyway, meanwhile, you are still hired in Syria, and we will keep paying you your payroll.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
yeah, and you stay working in Lebanon with us until we find your spot in Lebanon branch, and then we transfer you totally. But meanwhile, for 4 to 6 months, we will be more than happy to keep you. And they helped me. I went there. They paid me like for my accommodation, and they kept my salary kept going. And
Oh, that's
even
amazing.
though they paid more because adjusting to the cost life in Lebanon, so I was like really really lucky.
Wow. That's so great.
Yeah, yeah. But that being said, living in Lebanon is not great at all. Just because it's really really overwhelmed. It's very pretty country. It's amazing country. I love Lebanon, but it's very overwhelmed with Syrian. Like Lebanon, if you look at the map, Lebanon is smaller than Vancouver Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and their population is almost fairly 4 million, and I guess two
Wow.
millions of Syrians went to Lebanon. So you will
Wow.
find Syrians everywhere, and people start feeling overwhelmed
Right.
from. and especially they have a huge conflict in their economy and their money and everything. And Syrians start taking their job over, and they already have this trouble. And then the government of Lebanon, they said Syrians are not allowed to have residency in Lebanon anymore, and companies in Lebanon are not allowed to hire them.
Oh
And
man. So
yeah, and
it
that
wasn't
was
hospitable.
yes, and that was during my stay in Ernest and Young, Lebanon.
Right.
And then and then while I'm there, they kept me there. They said, okay, you can still stay for more 2 3 months in our company, but we can't hire you as like an employee.
Right.
Uh, so I hand over my job. I did all the thing that I should do as like when to resign. And then Lebanon, they said, okay, as a government of Lebanon, they said Syrians are allowed to be if they show proof of finance and they sign a rent contract in advance for minimum 6 months, I guess, or whatever. So I signed a rent contract for 6 months, and you have to pay and to show that you are able to pay your cost of life without having a job.
Mm.
As long as you are able to do this, so technically, okay, they allow you if you spend your money there, but you are not allowed to get income there.
Right.
So yeah,
So you're allowed to stay
otherwise
in the
you have to
country.
apply for. Sorry.
Right. You're allowed to stay in the country and you're allowed to spend your money there, obviously, but you're not allowed to earn money.
Exactly. This is what
Wow.
they were like. Every day they were issuing legislation, and they make it harder and harder for Syrian to stay.
Right.
Yeah, which okay, part of it is understandable because their economy is like nothing. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have a huge deficit, but in the other hand, like it was really hard for Syrian too. So
Right.
it's a big idea. So and when the government start saying some negative things about the Syrian, then people got impacted, and then you start seeing incident that Syrian guy was like kidnapped there, or Syrian guy
Right.
was like was dealt not fairly, or some shop center kicked Syrian from outside. So
Right.
it was kind of like weird and very difficult situation. But anyway, it's still safer and better than other places because in the end there is no war there, and it's safer than being in Syria.
Right.
So by the time I was there, I spent like almost out of 6 months, I guess 5 months, almost fairly 5 months. And I was like doing everything, applying to Europe, applying to Germany for going for master degree, or doing everything that I can do to just go to like some stable country that they give me a residency.
Right.
And by the time I was there, I applied to Canada too. So the only way, if you want to stay in Lebanon, you have to to be asylum seeker and live in a camp of the United Nations. Then United Nations will put you in a camp and start give you this like food and tent and stuff like that.
Right.
Then you are allowed to be in Lebanon. This is the second way: either show proof of finance and spend money, or like live in a camp in the United Nations, which is like both are not appealing to anybody, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so luckily I was able to manage those 5 months with assistant of Ernest and Young, but they cannot do it anymore after that. Because they can't violate the regulation.
Right.
So I resigned and I survived more months, I guess, on my own. And then I start applying everywhere. I applied to Germany. Germany application takes lots of time, and I was applying for master degree, and like getting acceptance and waiting the university to start. All of these things takes lots of time. So I was running out of time, and I don't want to renew my rent contract and pay another 6 months. So I
Right.
just wanted to make a decision. And yeah, it was very stressful life. I like every time I
I
remember
bet.
those times. Oh my gosh, I wake up, I feel, this is Canada, this is Kelowna. Oh, I'm glad I will go back to sleep again. Yeah. So, and while I was there, I was trying everything, and then I found job offer in Iraq, northern Iraq, and I said, okay, let me correspond with those people and tell them that hey, I'm interested to apply. And then
Wow.
I sent them, yeah, I applied, and they look at my resume and they interviewed me, and they wanted me and they accepted me, and I was like, everybody was asking me like, "Are you stupid? Like going to Iraq is war zone country, and it's like it has been not stable since 2004."
Yeah.
And I said, okay, being jobless in Lebanon. But I forget to tell you that I applied to Canada too while I was in Lebanon.
Yeah.
But also, like, there is a lots of people waiting, and they told me you might expect a year to hear from them. So it was
Right.
not like very easy. And that time I didn't have sponsors, so I was applying to the government sponsor, the government immigration,
Right.
which takes more time, and they prioritize people in a camp because they have
They have
they are
poorer
in a
living
harder
conditions.
conditions, which
Yeah,
is
they're at greater
yeah,
risk. Yeah.
it makes sense. And yeah, but LGBT also is a great risk.
Right.
So I acknowledge that. So when I applied, they told me, yeah, you have fair potential to be accepted, but you need to hope that somebody will read your application to know that to know your circumstances. So anyway, I waited there, and I haven't heard from them at all. And everybody was telling me, "Oh, you need to go register yourself in the camp to just like to move to the second stage of the application." But
Right.
anyway, I didn't do that because
Yeah,
it's
well,
such a
that's
hassle.
a hard choice, right? You have to choose between a year or more in a camp as a
Yeah,
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 or you get a job in a war-torn country.
exactly. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the two options: being jobless and hopeless in
Yeah.
Lebanon.
Yeah.
Maybe jobless but hopeful that Canada eventually will call me,
Yeah.
or
And homeless
being
too, right? Jobless and
yeah,
homeless. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Okay.
decided to have job but hopeless in Iraq because Iraq they don't have Canadian embassy, and there is very difficult if you are in Iraq to apply for immigration because Iraqi people already has priorities. There are many problems, and they are waiting their time. Like they have been waiting since 2004, since the U.S. Strike to Iraq and Saddam Hussein and all of these conflicts in Iraq. So and also Kurdish and Arab conflicts. So
Right.
they have their own trouble. So they don't need more trouble to come to them.
Right.
But anyway, I had a job, and I thought, okay, I need to survive my career. I need to continue my job. Let me go. Let me be on salary and get income, and then from there, I'm sure there must be a way to go. So instead of spending time and like for my mental health, I went to Iraq, and
Right.
yeah, and I went. It's northern Iraq, and it's Kurdish government.
Right. It's
So Iraq is not
Kurdistan?
divided between Kurds and Arabs. So
Were
it's
you
kind of like
were you in Kurdistan?
I was in Kurdistan. So
Right.
Kurdistan is a bit safer than other places in Iraq, but still like impacted by economical things. And I was like very surprised at how did I secure this job. But the trick is that Iraq has shortage in professional people
Mm,
because people are fleeing Iraq since 2004.
right. So there's been
And
a brain drain and you had a professional job that could get you in.
yeah, exactly.
So great.
And
Well,
yes, and,
great.
and and also the other things is that the international company that it's Deloitte and Touch is also international firm. It was very decent job. I really appreciate what I got. Like on the other hand, I feel like I'm the luckiest one. Beside everything I went through, Deloitte and Touch they also look at my resume, and like I have similar experience that what they were asking for, so
Right.
they offer me that job there.
So
And
yeah.
I went there. I had like amazing pay and like free accommodation, everything. It's like even they paid for my ticket flight.
Wow.
So it was well, yeah, well, went very well. And then I learned the trick. Like I found there, like there is okay, there are like many unsafe area, but beside the airport, there is like big compound for United Nations employee who are all from everywhere from the West,
Okay.
American, Canadian, European, all each government when they pay fund for helping people over there, they send team also to monitor their funds. So there are
Oh.
lots of diversity there. So I
Wow.
lived in that compound, and as an international firm, Deloitte and Touch, they want to provide to their employee safe place to live. So they provided us the same accommodation where the United Nations provide, which is very, very
Wow.
safe. And
Oh, that's so great.
yeah, that was so great. And actually, I had the nicest life as a gay person in Iraq. So I was like, okay, surrounded by westernized people, either westernized or already Western. So I start coming out to them. I start like sharing with them, and I met some like very nice gay guys there from all around the world. And some of them they work for human rights, and so they are very well educated. They know a lot about inclusion and diversity. So I had like, I really learned a lot from living there, and I never regret. And I made a very good saving there.
Good.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, but my dream to come to Canada was kind of demolished there because there's no embassy there, and people are waiting for a long time. So when I arrived to Iraq, after arriving to Iraq within a month, I got a call from Lebanon embassy, Canadian embassy in Lebanon. They told me, no, sorry, from United Nations in Lebanon. They told me, congratulations, we moved you to the second stage of the immigration, and you have potential, like big potential for acceptance to Canada.
Oh, man.
I was what?
So what'd you do?
Yeah, I told them, okay, that's a great news. I'm happy now, but I need to update you that I'm not in Lebanon anymore. But because I kept my Lebanese SIM card because I was expecting to get a call. I told her, but I can come. I can give up my work, everything. I can book a flight and come back to Lebanon. But she said, as long as you moved your residency, if you don't have any residency anymore, I can't guarantee to you that if you come, I will tell you, okay, you will travel within a week or 2 weeks. She
Oh,
said that, okay, this is second stage. Second stage of the interview means that doing the interview with like first level of interview and checking your status and then send it to people to judge. So she said this is not acceptance, it's potential of acceptance. And
right.
she said the process might take a year or 2 years, from year to 2 years.
Oh,
So she said
man.
that, yeah. And she said, as long as you told me that you moved from Lebanon, we will discover that, and then your priority will be not the same as if you had stayed there,
Oh,
because
fuck.
like
That's,
you kind
yeah.
of managed another income and work and sometimes. So probably I told her, but I didn't manage being in a safe place.
Right.
Anyways, she's just like responsible to tell you. She's not responsible to give you solution.
Right.
Anyway, she said, now I have to update your file, and if you want to continue, you need to acknowledge that you came back to Lebanon, and you need to take decision. So
Wow,
by
that's a
that
lot
time,
of hard
yeah,
choices.
it was very hard choice, and I was like learning from people, hearing from people how they were very frustrated from waiting. So
Right.
it's so hard process. So you have to first of all, like Canadian immigration system is amazing. So they have like lots of security process to monitor not bringing bad people to the country. For example, they investigate about you for, I guess, security investigation takes 6 months, and then
Wow.
medical testing for approximately from months to 2 months. Yeah, and then
Right.
they have to investigate every country you have visited since you were 18 until now. So I submitted all places, my school name, my friends, my family, my everything. So it takes lots of time. So I thought I'm not gonna survive another 2 to 1 year in Lebanon. I'd rather stay in Iraq and keep thinking of another way of moving.
Right.
Yeah. So that time, I also applied in Iraq to United Nations. I never heard from them. It passed like a year, and I have never heard. And I like my feeling was mix of regret and sadness. Oh, I missed it. Oh, I lost the opportunity. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, oh, try to satisfy myself. Oh, I have a nice career. I'm making good saving. I can save more money, and then I can go somewhere or do some. Yeah,
Yeah. What a hard place to be in.
very, very hard. And it's nice that I met those people, westernized people in Iraq, but they all are temporarily. Like they come for a mission for 6 months, 7 months, and they go. And like you always have to like wait until you meet new friends, and then they
Right.
go and you meet new friends. So you keep feeling that you are like disabled from traveling. Like everybody has their own passport. Like Syrian
Right.
passport not allow you to go. You are only allowed to go to Russia or Iran because those are the two horrible countries that they maintain relation with the government. Other than that, we are not allowed to go anywhere else.
Wow.
And you always accused as terrorist until you prove you are not. So it's
Right.
so like it's really really hard. Yeah. So while I was there, I was like trying everything. So I always like keep if you open my Google account, you find like gay in Canada, immigration gay in Canada, LGBT Canada, LGBT's organization in Canada. So I keep like doing this search
Mm.
until I was writing gay Vancouver, I guess, or yeah, sometimes something directed me to Vancouver, and then I came across this guy named Danny Ramadan. He was the Grand Marshal of Gay Pride in Vancouver 2016, and like they were like big title, Syrian gay came to Vancouver to be the Grand Marshal, and he met the Prime Minister of Canada, and I was like, oh, this is a very interesting story. Who is this guy?
Gay
What
Syrian
does
refugee writer who, weirdly, I know too. It's such a small little world. I didn't meet Anas through our mutual friend. It just happened.
wow?
Yeah, so you found a newspaper article or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then what did you
Yeah.
do? Did you write it? How'd you get a hold of him?
No, I was like, I had no idea what does Grand Marshal means, and I hear about the Pride and I see, but I didn't know anything. So I was like just searching and reading. But eventually, the same guy, Dani Ramadan, we had Arabic group, small group called I think yeah, this it's funny name in translation in English called Respectful Syrian LGBTs
Okay.
group on Facebook,
Okay.
and I was part of this group. Of course, you create fake account, you remove your picture, you remove your name if you want to be part of this group because people will chase you. Even in Iraq, they were hunting people on Grinder and everywhere to announce that those are
Oh.
LGBTs, and then they might either kill you or arrest you or doing those weird stuff to you.
So you create a
And
fake
then
profile to communicate with each other.
yeah, yeah. And there
Wow.
is zero tolerance to LGBTs in Iraq. Okay, I had a nice circle of friends, but even my company, the company that I work, unfortunately, both of them they were not open to LGBTs there. Even they have a great value in Canada and Western world, but not in all. They can't guarantee all branches to have like
To be
open-minded
safe.
people.
Right.
Yeah, so I kept it hidden, but I was open for a very small circle, uh, like mainly Western circle.
Okay, but
Anyway,
how did you meet Danny?
yeah, this is the great story. So Danny Ramadan, he's the only guy who doesn't have fake name on Facebook.
Okay.
And like I
Right.
can't remember my name was Sam or Sam SY, Sam Syria or something like this. So Daniel Ramadan was his full name, and sometimes like when you see people with their full name, it must be scam. So it's the opposite
Mm.
way. If you have your full name, then it must be scam. If you have fake name, then you must be discreet guy, scared for your life. And
Right.
he has his profile and everything. And then he posted. He shared his news on that group, and then I kind of connected with the news that I saw, and then I came across the name. Oh, this guy I saw his news. Then he's not fake. And he posted, guys, I made it in Canada, and I might be able to help. Let me know if you have those blah 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 circumstances, which is you are out of your country because in order to be accepted to Rainbow Refugee in Canada, so you have to
So
flee your
he
country
here
because
just to unpack it a little because you've skipped over a bunch of stuff. So he was involved with Rainbow Refugee, and that's the organization that got him to Canada.
no, I think who got him to Canada, they were like few group from Vancouver, few LGBT people, like just like five
Oh,
LGBTs.
okay. He had private
I met one
sponsors.
of them. He lives in Penticton. I'm not sure
Right.
if you know his name.
Well, let's not talk about real names.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways,
yeah,
I'm
like,
just trying to unpack where you are in the moment in the story. So he said online that there's the Rainbow Refugee, which is an LGBT group that helped get
yeah,
LGBT refugees to Canada, and he had
yes,
criteria that you had to fit that he posted.
exactly. He
And
said
Danny
that
was working with them. Yeah.
yeah, first you have to
Okay.
be out of your country. Second, you have to be an LGBT. So it has like some certain, yeah. And
Yeah.
he said, I can't guarantee anything, but if I'm able to help, I'm happy to help.
Wow.
And people didn't take it seriously because it's very weird. Like I've never seen anybody coming out with his Arabic name, his picture, and his family is fairly well known in Damascus. So it's
Right.
big family,
Right.
Ramadan. So it's like it's just something like you can understand. And people who doesn't read English, they might take it not seriously. And so I went further. I searched his name. I looked at the accomplishment he did. I looked at he's a writer and he wrote a book and he was writing a book at that time.
Right.
So I thought that this is real. Okay, let me try it. And then I sent, hey, my name is Anas, blah blah blah, and this is my fake profile. I'm sorry for that because And he said, I understand. I said he had already. Because he know the culture and how they all scared
Right.
from themselves there. So I told him, yeah, this is my story. I applied in Lebanon and then I went to Iraq, blah, blah, blah. I told him all the story. And then he said, okay, as I told you, nothing guaranteed. Just write the same thing that you are telling me in the paper and I will just submit it to Rainbow Refugee and let's hope you will get luck. And I was like, oh, 100%, and there is no hope because I corresponded with all international organizations, with the United Nations, with the human rights, with everybody. Like
Yeah.
I haven't responded. They always Amnesty International, every single organization that they are very well known, and they always apologize. Oh, we cannot prioritize you. Like you have to go through the United Nations. United Nations should elect you, and all of those things. And
Wow.
you have, yeah. And okay, then he submitted my story to Rainbow Refugees in Vancouver, and Rainbow Refugee they just took my profile. He asked me for my ID, blah blah blah, my Syrian passport and everything. And I think they sent it across Canada, and they said, "Here's this guy case. Who would like to sponsor him?" And then first call was from First United Church Central Okanagan Refugee Committee, Cork,
Right.
in the three churches from Rutland, the United Church, and the Kelowna downtown, the United Church, and Winfield. So a group of them, they have like a organization called Cork,
Right.
and they read my application and they immediately send their invitation for a sponsorship. And it works directly. Like I got the call after like almost 3 weeks from Danny Ramadan submitting my story, and
I got
Danny sent me
goosebumps.
back. Sorry.
I got goosebumps.
Okay.
What you doing? Where'd you go?
Oh, you said. Oh, sorry. I
No,
thought you wanted.
I got goosebumps.
Oh, good.
I got goosebumps on my arm. And then you're like, I'm not looking at that.
This is your goosebump. It's blocked the picture.
No, I mean I got goosebumps that they wrote you, and
Yeah.
it's just moving. It made the
Yeah.
hairs stand on end.
Seriously, it was like a magic. I was like repeating like the stereotype in my mind. Okay, what makes me come to Iraq and living like almost a year and a half of regret
Yeah.
of being there, and
Well, and the fascinating thing to me is that you had tried all of these international organizations that we think have a great deal of power and a great deal of insight. And it's this small group of volunteers out of Vancouver and a bunch of churches in the Okanagan that nobody knows about that managed to do this for you. It's the
exactly.
microculture that worked.
That's amazing. Seriously, that I
That's
was like at the
amazing.
very, very end of the application, I was like not believing what's going on and how I met Danny, how I had no
Yeah.
idea who he is.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been 3 years now almost in Canada and I haven't met him. I didn't have a chance to meet him. I just like we corresponded many times, and I thank him a lot for what he did. Yeah, but I didn't have chance to meet him. Like, how, what a small world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Danny, when he submitted my application, he sent me, when he heard back from this group of Okanagan, he told me, I know you are interested in Vancouver, because I kind of commented that, oh, Vancouver is the best city in the world or something, like when he told me he lives in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I know that you are interested in Vancouver, but how about something called Kelowna? And it's fairly like 4 hours far and it's fairly small. And I was like, oh yeah, definitely. He said, like, do you want to Google it and check? And at that time, he said, this is our first call. If we wait further, we might get another call.
Well, it's full of interesting faggots.
Yeah. And I was like, Danny, submit my application. This is the first call, and this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. He said, that is fairly small, but he said, you can always move if you don't like it. I said, okay, definitely, but I don't care. Take me to Saskatoon. I just want to leave.
Right.
Yeah. And okay, he submitted the application, and everything went well. And Cork, they signed everything, and then I got a call from Jodine. She is a member of Cork, and she introduced herself, and I was like, to the very end, oh, this is a scam. This must be scam.
Right.
I got email from her, and I can't believe it. I was like, no. This is like something in the end will happen.
It was too good to be true, right? It sounded too simple all of a sudden.
Yeah, especially that I know lots of people are waiting, and
yeah,
they went through the whole process without sponsorship, because the government of Canada bringing people, but they can't bring all those people. So
right.
Lots of waiting.
Yeah, for the Americans who might be watching the show, there are two kinds of sponsorship in Canada. There was government sponsorship, where they gave you a certain fixed income and they would sponsor you to come. But there was also private sponsorship. So rich people and some organizations like churches and community groups, or just people in the community, they could sponsor somebody. So they would put up the money in order to help get people here. So this is what Anas ran into. He met community groups that was just Jodine and her circle of church friends who were sponsoring to bring people over. And anyways, just for people who don't know the history of Syrian refugees in Canada.
Yeah, thanks for explaining. And Canadian immigration system is one of the best. Like this sponsorship, it works very well. And I heard many European countries, they are trying to copy it.
Right.
Yeah. So, and Jodine started sending me and educating me about the application and the process, and what is their responsibility, what is my responsibility. And she copied the member of the refugee, the member of the sponsors there, and she said that now we can only do nothing, just waiting for the call from the embassy of Canada and Iraq to interview you. And I said, what did you say? Embassy of Canada and Iraq? We don't have embassy of Canada and Iraq, so there's a hustle there. So like I was like, I wonder how would I proceed with this is second challenge after applying.
Right.
So at that time, because we don't have Canadian embassy there, the embassy that's responsible to you was either Jordan or Turkey. So they are dividing the work between both. And Jordan and Turkey, they are already overwhelmed with tons of applications that they are dealing with in Turkey and Jordan and Lebanon as well. So it's so difficult to manage. So I can't do anything. I'm just waiting. And I waited a lot, and I got a lot of time, disappointing time, and sometimes I don't believe it will. I knew that something wrong will happen, and I was like, it's never gonna work. So anyway, until I got this call from Jordan embassy in Canadian embassy in Jordan. They called me and they said that, oh, we'd like to interview you, and then they want me to go to Jordan to get the interview done. But that time, Jordan stopped issuing visa to Syrian because of the conflicts and because of the Syrian passport.
Right.
And they didn't allow me to go to Jordan, and I was like, after I got the call and I was like almost close to go to Jordan, and then they canceled and they said, "Oh, we can't have you there." And I forgot to tell you, they called another Syrian people from Iraq, and they went to Jordan, and the airport in Jordan didn't allow them to get in. And
Oh
then they
no.
corresponded with the Canadian embassy, and Canadian embassy sent a team to the airport, and they interviewed them at the airport, and they sent them back to Iraq because they were not allowed to enter Jordan.
Wow.
Can you imagine how much challenges they have to?
Yeah. Okay, so I just am mindful of the time because you have to come in under an hour. You got less than 10 minutes to finish this.
Oh, maybe we need another part. Okay, let's make it shorter. Anyway, with all of this conflicts, Canadian embassy decided to send a team to Iraq to interview all people who are waiting instead of having those people travel to Jordan because
Right.
we are not.
Smart.
They, they sent those people. They came and they interviewed us. I think we need to have another story about the interview process. Anyway, I'll not go further with it. And comparing the interview process with Canadian interviewer to American interviewer that I did before. Anyway, let's stop from here and talk about the interviews went well, and they said, okay,
And
your flight
well,
will be
just I
within.
know a little bit about this, so I just don't want to miss some juicy details. When you were doing your interview, you had to decide whether you came out or not in that interview, right?
Yes,
And you were at
yeah,
some risk coming out.
yeah, because there are local community working there,
Right.
so and they they ask for translator for everyone
Right.
to be
You
there.
didn't need a translator, but they gave you one anyways. And that
They
person,
wanted, and yeah,
yeah,
and that person was local. And then I talked to the
local.
interviewer. I told him I don't want a translator, and I will survive my English.
Right.
And she
And so you,
says, "Well, is there any reason?" And I told her the reason, and she said, "Oh, definitely, we
oh,
will
that's
not
so
have
great.
translator."
So you had to get the
Uh,
local translator out so you could come out to the Canadian
to them.
representative.
Exactly. And she was an amazing woman from Quebec. And she told me, look, your English is great. And she said, I have English accent. She said, let's agree on this. If I don't understand some words, I will ask you to repeat. And if you don't understand my accent, I will ask you to repeat.
Okay.
Wow, that makes me feel so comfortable.
That was great.
Anyway, I did my interview, and she didn't embarrass me talking about anything about
Mm.
LGBTs and stuff. She was like, kind of, yeah, very nice interview, very she asked me about everything. She did her job, but very politely and very nice. Anyway, it went like almost an hour. So, and then in the end, she stood up and she told me, Anas Khatumi, congratulations and welcome to Canada. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh, I
Oh, that's
cried.
amazing.
I swear to God, I cried. And she was tearing too. And yeah, so I got this acceptance, and the second challenge, she told me we would expect within 2 months to be, and we just need to do the process of like taking you out from Iraq and flying. So then the war started between Arabs government in Iraq and Kurdish government. This is a long story. So anyway, the effect of this story that Kurdish government, Kurdish people, they march for independence from government of Iran, and then government of Iran they halted all the flights from Kurdistan, and they stopped the airport, and no one allowed to flee from there. And every Arabs community who got their residency from Kurdish government are denied. And if you want to leave the country, you have to fly all the way to the south of Iraq, to the Arab government, and deny your residency, tear your all your paper, and write clearance that you will never come back to the Kurdish government. That was
Wow.
such stress. Yeah. And yeah, and then Canadian embassy they said we can't secure you traveling to the south, and we will not go down this way. Like we cancel everything. So you are still accepted, but we will just stop until this conflict be solved.
Oh,
That being
man.
said, that being said, I got my acceptance in April 2017, and I was not able to travel until November 2017.
Wow.
By that time, I sold my car. I applied for my resignation, and I was like, I acknowledged my company within 2 months. I'm traveling. Everything I did, and then, but luckily, Deloitte and Touch, they returned me back to there. They said, okay, stay with us as long as you can until you travel. So I was
Right.
very lucky career wise and immigration wise too.
Wow.
Yeah, so I waited until November, and then in November I came to Kelowna. I landed it in the small, tiny, nice Kelowna airport. I found like almost 15 lovely faces. Judine and
All your
Bev, Dawn,
sponsors.
all Cork member, including your husband. And they were like carrying all amazing, nice flag, rainbow flag, and some Arabic word, and some painting, kids painting, Canadian flag, everything. Welcome to Canada. Oh my God. I started crying like a baby, and I was like hugging everybody. I don't know anyone of them. Okay, I only corresponded with Jodine and Francis, but I never known anyone. I was so like I came to unknown. I didn't know what is after the airport. Where am I going? What's going on? It was amazing. Oh my gosh, I cried like a baby. And then they told me there is a very nice woman. She's also volunteered with Cork. She offered her accommodation for refugee. We will let you stay with her for almost 2 months until we find something for you. You are on your way. Wow, and that was the nicest gift in Canada. And from Cork, from everywhere, from the universe to me was Carol Taylor, which I just lost her in January this year. That was amazing memory that I ever seen, and I will never forget. This is like that's it.
That is a beautiful story. Here is
Thank you.
Anas in How I Escaped Two Wars. You're a beautiful person. I really love you. That was monumental story.
Thank you. I love you too.
Okay, here. This is our quick extra. Click the notification bell. It'll tell you when we're live. You can send emails to myself or Anas at michaelbsmith.com. I love you lots. Let's give a big kiss out to the audience. Mwah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on my show, sweetheart. Have I told you the one about?
Thank you.